Welcome to Wenger Arsenal Daily. Welcome back to Wenger Arsenal Daily. A big warm welcome to everyone joining us today, whether you have been part of this community for a long time or you're brand new here. This is the place where Arsenal fans come to get honest, detailed, and passionate content about the club they love. No noise, no fake stories, just real Arsenal talk from people who genuinely care about this football club and everything it stands for. If you have not already subscribed to the Wenger Arsenal Daily YouTube channel, please go and do that right now. We are one of the most trusted Arsenal channels anywhere on the internet. We cover the transfers, the tactics, the team news, the big opinions, and everything in between. We respect your time, and we respect your intelligence as a football fan. Go and subscribe to Wenger Arsenal Daily on YouTube and make it your go-to source for everything Arsenal. You will not find better Arsenal content anywhere. Now, let's talk about a name that is quickly becoming one of the most exciting stories in English football right now. A name that every Arsenal fan needs to know properly. Because if this transfer happens, it could be one of the signings of the entire summer. The 19-year-old who is breaking Premier League records and catching Arsenal's eye. Let me ask you something to start. What if Arsenal could sign a player who is only 19 years old, is already breaking Premier League records that have stood since the days of Robbie Fowler and Robbie Keane, scores goals at a rate that even seasoned strikers would be proud of, and is currently being described as one of the most efficient attackers in European football right now? What would you think if someone told you that this player has scored 13 Premier League goals in his debut top-flight season, doing so while not even playing full games, while being carefully managed by his manager, while coming off the bench, and making his minutes count in the most extraordinary way possible? And what would you think if someone told you that Arsenal are now actively monitoring this player after his remarkable breakthrough season? That player is Eli Jr. Kroupi, and the story of what he has done this season and what his potential arrival at Arsenal could mean is one of the most compelling conversations in football right now. So let us sit down together and really talk about it. Let us understand who this young man is, what he has already achieved, why Arsenal are watching him so closely, and what it would mean if the Gunners managed to bring him to North London. Who is Eli Jr. Kroupi? First things first, let's get to know the player properly. Eli Jr. Kroupi is a 19-year-old French forward who plays for Bournemouth. He was born on June 23, 2006. Yes, 2006. He is genuinely still a teenager. He is right-footed and operates primarily as a forward and attacking midfielder. He stands at 179 centimeters, which is a decent height for someone who plays in the positions he plays in. His journey to the Premier League is already a fascinating one. He came through at Lorient, the French club, where he spent time developing as a young player. During the 2024 to 2025 season, while on loan at Lorient, who were playing in League Two, he was their top scorer. He helped fire the club to the League Two title and promotion back to the top flight of French football. That is what he was doing before he even properly arrived in the Premier League. Bournemouth signed him in February 2025 for a fee of around 12 million euros. At the time, some people might have looked at that and thought it was a reasonable piece of business for a promising young French player. Nobody could have fully predicted what was about to happen next, because what Kroupi has done since arriving in England, since stepping into the Premier League and beginning his debut top-flight season, has been nothing short of extraordinary. The numbers that tell an incredible story. Let's talk about the statistics, because the numbers around Kroupi this season are genuinely jaw-dropping when you look at them properly and understand the context behind them. Kroupi has scored 13 Premier League goals in his debut top-flight campaign. 13 goals as a teenager in his first ever Premier League season. But here is the part that makes those numbers even more remarkable. He has not been a regular starter. He has been carefully managed by Bournemouth manager Andoni Iraola. He has not played a single full 90 minutes in the Premier League this season. He has played a total of around 1,672 minutes across his league appearances. To put that into context, if you divide that by 90, that is roughly the equivalent of fewer than 19 full games. And yet he has 13 goals. Think about that ratio. Think about how often this teenager is scoring relative to the minutes he is actually on the pitch. It is remarkable. And those 13 goals are not just a nice number. They are actually a record, a real Premier League record. Kroupi has scored more Premier League goals as a teenager in a debut top-flight season than any player in the history of the competition. He has gone past the records set by Robbie Fowler and Robbie Keane, two of the most celebrated teenage talents English football has ever seen. Those are names that are spoken about with reverence in football history. And a 19-year-old French kid at Bournemouth has just walked past both of them. His shot conversion rate tells you even more. Kroupi converts roughly 28% of his shots. That means he scores approximately 1 goal every 4 shots he takes. For comparison, most Premier League strikers would be very happy with a conversion rate of 15 to 20%. Kroupi is operating at almost double that level, and the advanced statistics make it even clearer that this is not luck. His expected goals based on shot quality suggested an average finisher would have scored around 8 times from the chances he had. Kroupi scored 13. He is not just getting lucky with the quality of chances he receives. He is actively turning lower quality chances into goals through elite technique, positioning, and composure. This is not a hot streak. This is a special player showing what he is capable of. Did you know Kroupi was having this kind of season? Or is this the first time you're really sitting down and looking at these numbers properly? Tell us in the comments. The way he scores. What makes him so different? Numbers only tell part of the story. What really matters is how Kroupi scores and what it is about his game that makes him so effective. The first thing that stands out is his composure. When a teenager is scoring at this rate in the Premier League, the natural assumption from some people is that he might be getting tap-ins or benefiting from lucky deflections. But that is not how Kroupi operates. He finishes with a coolness that most players twice his age never develop. When the ball comes to him in a dangerous position, he does not panic. He takes a fraction of a second, assesses where the goalkeeper is, and places the ball precisely where it needs to go. The second thing is his movement. Kroupi does not just stand still and wait for the ball. He moves intelligently. He finds pockets of space the defenders do not expect. He times his runs to arrive in dangerous areas at exactly the right moment. This kind of movement is something that is very difficult to teach. You can coach finishing technique. You can work on a player's positioning and training. But the instinct to be in the right place at the right time, consistently, is something that the very best finishers in the world are simply born with. Kroupi appears to have that instinct. The third thing is his work off the ball. This is something that sometimes gets overlooked when people focus purely on goal scoring. Kroupi has contributed significantly to his team's defensive efforts as well. He has racked up over 100 defensive contributions this season, including a significant number of ball recoveries in the final third. This matters enormously because a striker who only works hard when his team has the ball is limited in the modern game. A striker who presses from the front, wins the ball back in dangerous areas, and creates second chances from his defensive work is incredibly valuable. Kroupi does all of that. Fourth and finally, there's his ruthlessness. Kroupi does not need many chances to hurt you. He does not need the game to be perfectly set up for him. He just needs a sliver of space and a moment to strike. Opposition defenders cannot afford to give him anything. And in a Premier League season full of games where the margins are tiny, that quality is priceless. Why Arsenal monitoring him makes complete sense. Now let us connect all of this to Arsenal. Because the question is not just why Kroupi is exciting. The question is why Arsenal specifically would be watching him and what it tells us about Arteta's planning for next season. Arsenal have been looking for more attacking firepower. That has been one of the central conversations around the club this summer. The need for more goals from forward areas. The need for more options in attack. The need for a player who can come in and make a difference in crucial moments. Kroupi ticks every box that matters. He is young enough that Arsenal would be signing him at the very beginning of what could be an extraordinary career. He has not yet reached his ceiling. If anything, what he has done this season is just the starting point. With better training, better coaching, better teammates around him, and the kind of detailed development work that Arteta and his staff are renowned for, Kroupi could become a genuinely world-class attacker. He is efficient in front of goal in a way that Arsenal have sometimes lacked. The ability to take a limited number of chances and still score regularly is a quality that changes games and changes seasons. Arsenal create plenty of chances. A finisher like Kroupi would turn those chances into goals at a rate that would make the team significantly more dangerous. He works hard off the ball. This is non-negotiable for Arteta. Every player in his system is expected to press, to recover the ball, to work for the team when Arsenal do not have possession. Kroupi has already shown at Bournemouth that he does this naturally. He does not switch off when the other team has the ball. He stays active and stays involved. That makes him a natural fit for the way Arteta wants his forward players to operate. And he is versatile. He can play centrally as a striker. He can play in behind as an attacking midfielder. He can operate on the right or drift into central areas. That versatility gives Arteta options in how he sets up and how he uses Kroupi in different games and different situations. Does Kroupi sound like exactly the kind of player Arteta looks for? Because from where we are sitting, the fit looks very strong indeed. The record that puts it all in perspective. We mentioned earlier that Kroupi has broken the Premier League record for most goals scored by a teenager in a debut top-flight season. But let us sit with that for a moment longer because it deserves proper appreciation. The players whose records Kroupi has passed are not just good players. Robbie Fowler became one of the most clinical finishers the Premier League has ever seen. Robbie Keane had a career that spanned decades and included goals at the highest level for clubs and countries all over the world. These were genuinely elite footballers. And Kroupi has just walked past both of them at the age of 19 in his first ever Premier League season, while not even playing full games. Records like this do not get broken by average players. They do not get broken by lucky players on a hot streak. They get broken by special talents who have something that most players simply do not have. Arsenal recognizing that and actively monitoring Kroupi is not a surprise. What would be a surprise is if Arsenal were not interested. The Bournemouth factor. How hard will it be? Now, let us be honest about the challenges involved in this transfer. Because nothing is ever straightforward when a big club wants a small club's best young player. Bournemouth will not want to sell Kroupi easily. He is under contract until June 2030, which means they are in a strong negotiating position. They do not need to sell. They can demand a proper fee, and if they do not get it, they can simply keep him. His market value is currently estimated at around 38 million euros, but that number was calculated before his record-breaking final weeks of the season. The actual fee Arsenal might need to pay could be significantly higher than that, especially if other clubs come in with competing interest. And there will be competing interest. A teenager who just broke Premier League records and plays for a club that has just qualified for European football does not go unnoticed. Every major club in England and across Europe will have had someone watching Kroupi this season. Arsenal will not be the only club knocking on Bournemouth's door. This is where Arsenal's ability to move quickly and decisively will be tested. If they genuinely want Kroupi, they need to make that clear to Bournemouth early, show they are serious, and put together an offer that makes it very difficult for the player and the club to say no. What do you think a fair price for Kroupi would be given what he has done this season? Do you think Arsenal should be willing to go big to get this deal done? What Kroupi would mean for Arsenal long-term? Let's dream a little here. Let us think about what Kroupi at Arsenal, developing under Arteta, surrounded by players like Saka and Rice and the rest of this talented squad, could look like in 3 or 4 years' time. He is 19 now. If Arsenal sign him this summer, he would still only be in his early 20s when the next great chapter of this Arsenal team is being written. He would be learning from some of the best players in the Premier League. He would be coached by a manager who has a track record of making good players significantly better. He would be playing in the Champions League. He would be under pressure to perform at the highest level every week. That environment is exactly what a talent like Kroupi needs to become everything he is capable of being. And if he develops even close to the trajectory that his current numbers suggest, Arsenal could have a striker who scores 20 to 25 goals a season at the very top level. That is the kind of output that wins league titles and Champions League trophies. The investment would be significant, but the potential return on that investment is enormous. Kroupi is not just a good signing for next season. He is potentially one of those rare signings that defines a club's decade. Final thoughts. The story of Eli Jr. Kroupi is one of the most exciting stories in English football this year. A teenager from France who came to Bournemouth, barely started games, and still broke Premier League records that had stood for decades. A player whose efficiency in front of goal is operating at a level that even experienced strikers rarely reach. A player who works hard, moves intelligently, finishes with composure, and still has almost everything ahead of him. And Arsenal are watching him closely. If Arteta and the club can make this happen, if they can get Kroupi to North London and give him the environment he needs to keep developing, this could be one of the most exciting transfers Arsenal have made in years. Not because of what Kroupi is right now, but because of what he could become. And that is the most exciting kind of signing there is. Thank you so much for following this post on Wenger Arsenal Daily. This community is built on the love we all share for Arsenal, and we are so grateful for every single one of you who reads, shares, and joins the conversation. For the most honest and trusted Arsenal content anywhere on the internet, please go and subscribe to the Wenger Arsenal Daily YouTube channel right now. We are there every week covering every story that matters to Gunners. Now tell us in the comments, how excited are you about Eli Jr. Kroupi? Would you be happy if Arsenal signed him this summer? And what do you think a fair price would be for a teenager who just broke Premier League history? Let's hear it. This is your community. We are Arsenal, and the future is looking very, very bright. See you in the next one on Wenger Arsenal Daily.